In this episode, I'm going to talk about my family's trip to Walt Disney World and all the cool crap I bought. So, stick around. Hello friends, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. In this episode, I'm going to do a quick rundown of my family trip to Walt Disney World and all the cool crap that I ended up getting while there. Before we get started, there's a couple things I want to go over, and the first of those is this little hiatus I've taken from the channel. It was simply just a time issue. We went to Disney, and now that we're back, it was a week until Christmas. So we had to get everything done for Christmas before going on the trip. So it was these two pretty monumental things sandwiched together. And it took up a lot of my free time to get the Christmas stuff in order, and then all the Disney stuff in order, and then of course being gone for over a week to Disney World, which was awesome, and I love doing this show, but that type of family time is, that's priceless, and I'm so happy that I got to experience all that with my kids and my wife, and it was perfect. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Second, before I took this hiatus, I did a little trailer. And in that trailer I said I would still be doing the weekly vlogs, and there were surprises in store. Unfortunately, I didn't do the vlogs just because, to be honest, on Friday afternoons when I do them while driving home from work, I was just so drained from all the stuff I was doing at home to get ready, and how draining work had been for probably the past month. I just didn't feel like talking. I pretty much drove home in silence with my own thoughts, just to decompress and chill out. So I apologize for no vlogs in that time period, even though I said there would be some. And as far as the surprises, I had some really fun stuff planned. I planned on doing vlogs while in Disney World, and first off, in the parks, rushing around trying to get to places, fighting through the crowds, protecting, herding, and just keeping an eye on the kids was a full-time job, and I wasn't able to get a camera out and chronicle any of it to that extent. So I also thought, well, how our last trip was a couple years ago, once the family went to bed and I was still a little keyed up, I would walk around the cafeteria and the shops and stuff that were in the resort, and I kind of had that in my mind of, well, I'll do that again and vlog while I'm doing that. But this time, where we stayed was a lot more busy after hours than the place we stayed at a couple years ago. So I could never find like a little secret place to vlog in peace. I even brought a little tripod that I was going to set up on a table, and I couldn't even find that there. It was so busy. I talk about it later, but in parentheses, I'm actually filming this the next day because for some reason my camera didn't take this bit of the video. So I'm reshooting it, so just to let you know why I'm speaking in that way. But anyway, as I talk about, the place we stayed at was awesome. It was very serene, but it was also busy. It was a peaceful busy, but still busy. So I couldn't do that. And on top of it, I was just so tired by the time we got back to our room that I passed out as well. So I apologize for those few things. I mean, if I wouldn't have made that trailer with those announcements, it wouldn't have been an issue, but I did, and I shouldn't have, and I apologize. So anyway, let's get started. Like they were shops on the street. It was really neat. We spent one night there to get something different to eat. It was really cool. So I recommend that resort. It was worth the money, and it was really fun. Oh, and I forgot. The room that we stayed in, well, let me back up a little bit. 2 years ago when we went, we stayed at a place called Art of Animation, and its whole shtick is Disney animation. We stayed in the Little Nemo suites, so everything looked like Little Nemo. From the mirrors looked like portholes in the sunken like submarine and stuff, and had the full Nemo aesthetic and artwork and everything. It was great. We kind of wanted that again because you just want to be enveloped in Disney while you're there. You know, you want to feel that kid-like awe, whenever you can. So a lot of the resorts, their rooms are super nice, but at the end of the day, they look just like really nice hotel rooms. So we were trying to find somewhere that still had that Disney magic, if you will. So where we stayed at Port Orleans Riverside, they have these things called princess rooms. And, I mean, they're really nice. I mean, there's portraits on the wall of past Disney princesses. Since it's a New Orleans-based resort, it's very much the Frog Princess, or Princess and the Frog theme. So there's a huge, like, really cool lenicular, or however you say it, picture of Tiana that it has, like, these 3D depth things to it. But also, like, the footstool in the room looked like the one from Beauty and the Beast, you know, the one that was kind of like a dog jumping around. On the carpet, they have a carpet from Aladdin. So, really neat. Oh, and the headboards look like a bayou scene, and you push a button and these fiber optic fireworks would go off. So that was really neat. My only problem with those were I wish they stayed on longer. They just do one little like 30-second cycle and they turn off. I think it would be neater if they lasted a little bit longer, that you could use them for the kids as like a night light. Because, I mean, of course, they're young, so they felt a little out of sorts, and, you know, that extra security of like a night light would have been nice. So, the princess rooms, very fun. So anyway, we started our trip with like 2 free days to just unwind after, you know, to make it feel like a vacation, not like you're working one day and now you're hitting the parks the next and going crazy. So we had a couple days to just unwind from life and enjoy the resorts, and we went to Disney Springs, which is super crazy this time of year because of everybody going Christmas shopping. Because Disney Springs is the shopping district for Disney. It's open to the public. You don't need a ticket or anything like that. You can just park your car and walk in like it's a giant shopping mall, pretty much. So it was very crazy. Every time we went, it was crazy. I mean, bad on me, assumed that December would be quiet there, but far from it. It didn't diminish our trip at all to how busy it was, because you kind of expect it. Well, anyway, the first park we went to was Magic Kingdom. And one of the first things that I bought there was this. This is for Mickey's birthday celebration. See, he's got a party hat on. And if you can see here, this is a straw. This is meant to be a cup. But very cool. They know you're not going to use it as a cup, because who's going to walk around the park like this, you know, on a hot 80-degree Florida day trying to drink your hot Coca-Cola out of this? So they give you this with your Coke in a little cup. And I gotta admit, I'm not a Coke person to begin with, but I got coked up quick. I don't mean coked up like that. Anyway, I had enough Coke for a lifetime in a week. So, anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think this is so cute. And I'm a sucker for stuff like this because if you really think about it, getting a Disney collectible this size of Mickey Mouse would be pretty pricey. But this is very affordable, and that's the thing. There is a lot of cheap things if you just know how to look, and I try to be as frugal as possible to spend it on other things, which we'll get to. But this is perfect. When I redid the laundry room, I eventually redid the basement area, and we're hoping to make it like a Disney sanctuary. So I thought something like this would be perfect up on a shelf. I mean, you can even take the hat off and it's just Mickey. Or put the hat on and maybe take the straw off. It's attached, so I might have to do some finagling. Doesn't even want to go in his brain. Go in his brain. Okay, so blow his mind. But look at this. Ah, that's where the Coke goes in. It's like that Mickey cartoon where he gets the brain transplant as a wild beast. But anyway, I thought this was really cool, really affordable, and like I said, just would look great on a shelf. So this is one of the first things that I got. So we'll set that there, and that'll go back into the basement portion. And the other stuff that I got was a lot of pins here and there, and a couple t-shirts, which you'll see as time goes on as I'm wearing them. And maybe I'll make mention, like, hey, I got this at Disney World. But I got pins. We can go over them at the end of the video. I'll switch out the macro lens so we can get the detail on them. But what else? See, I really held off because I knew we were going to Galaxy's Edge, and that's where I was going to spend my money. I have a lot of regrets. There were a lot of things that I saw that it was, I'll hit that on the way back through, and there was no back through. Because our second day there was Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which you can go to at 4 o'clock and it runs until midnight. It's a whole separate ticket price, so you don't get to go in when the park opens. You go in at 4. So we had a nice pool day, could ease into it, and then we ended up there at 4 o'clock. And I didn't mention it, and I should, but this time with the kids at their age, which is 4 and 7, we were able to hit so many more rides than we were on our first trip as a family. They met the height requirements, which is ACEs, and we felt more comfortable because, yes, we had a fast pass at this place, but when you have a fast pass, you have a whole hour window. So we would say, yeah, we can get there within that hour, but hey, this ride only has a 15-minute wait. Let's run over there and do that. Oh, let's do that. Let's grab a snack, and we're still at the fast pass with enough time. So we were able to hit so much stuff, and it was so awesome. So I really enjoyed that part of the trip. Like we did the Seven Dwarfs Mine Car. Excellent. Very fun. It was one of the very first roller coasters my kids have ever been on, and they enjoyed it. And hopefully they won't grow up being afraid of stuff like that, like I was kind of raised to be afraid of, because my parents hated rides and they put fear in me. They were the ones telling me you could fly off and die, it could break down and die. Me, because I've had time to finally get into roller coasters and be acclimated to different rides, I could teach my kids not to be afraid. So very happy that they were willing and able and had fun on everything we did. But anyway, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, crazy. It was sold out. What was fun is, as soon as you walk in with your special wristband that you get, they hand you sugar cookies. Everyone in the party. And they have cocoa stations, eggnog stations, cookies, Rice Krispie treats, Fanta, which was weird, but it's just fun. And we call. So let me start with where we stayed. I mean, that's a simple thing to talk about, and it was really cool. It was a place called Port Orleans Riverside, and staying there was like staying on a whole different vacation. Very heavily wooded, very quiet. I mean, yes, it was busy, but it was a quiet busy. People walked slower there. You enjoyed the scenery. There were boats, a great pool, a great shop and restaurant there. And like I said, it felt like we were on two separate vacations because of this quiet serenity at the resort, but then the crazy franticness of the parks. It was a nice balance between the two. Now that's Riverside. They have one called Port Orleans French Quarter, which is within walking distance, where you can take a horse-drawn carriage or a boat there, and that looks like the French Quarter in Louisiana, in New Orleans. It is made to look like streets with cobble or brick sidewalks. The apartments, or I'm sorry, the rooms, the hotel rooms, are made to look like the balconies overlooking the streets on like Mardi Gras and stuff. Very cool. And the shops and the restaurants were kind of tucked away. Parade there, which was really cool. Probably the longest Disney parade that I've ever watched. And they had so many great characters. So many, like they had the March of the Wooden Soldiers from the Babes in Toyland with Annette Funicello. Very awesome. Very nostalgic with that. And it ended with Santa, with prancing reindeer. Very cool. But the only thing that I got, and I saw people with it, and I wanted it, and like I said, I'm a sucker for cheap things that can be displayed, was this. This is to hold popcorn in, and really, it's not a lot of room. You're not paying the money for the popcorn. You're paying it for this, and it comes with this lanyard that you can wear it around your neck. I mean, really, who's going to do that? I mean, I saw a lot of people with it hanging off their strollers or carts and stuff, but it has different lights. You probably can't see in this lighting, but the star lights up at the top, the bulbs going around light up, and it has different flashing and different effects. But here's Mickey with a gift. And like I said, if you look at a Disney collectible in this size, it's going to be very expensive. But if you do it like this, it's cheap enough. Put up on your shelf at Christmas time, it looks great. At least I think it looks great. So, yeah, we ate the popcorn and enjoyed it, but it was all about the collectible. Great. Great for Christmas time. I have it displayed upstairs on our hermit crab tank. They can enjoy it. They crawl around and climb stuff. They know what it is. They know it's Christmas. So anyway, got that. The next day we went to Epcot and had a great time. Rode so many great rides. Finally did Soarin', which was awesome. And I have to admit, it got to me. It's very much visual stimulation. Yes, you're up in the air hanging on this little seat that does stuff like this with the IMAX screen. So as you're flying, it lifts and goes down. But it got me. I got like afraid, especially like one part, it zooms at the Eiffel Tower and then goes up it. And then at the top, it comes down. In reality, you're not really even moving that much. I would look over at the cars over there and I see that it's only moving a small amount. But as you're visually taking it in, it feels like, whoa, because the camera on the IMAX camera, you know, makes it feel that way. So that was super fun. And again, my kids loved it. You know, they enjoyed it so much. And that just makes me super happy as a parent. But Didn't really get that much at Epcot. Did get a Figment shirt that I've wanted since our first trip down there. And they finally had it back in stock in my size. Super happy. Can't wait to wear it. And I'll wear it in an episode soon so I can show it off. But the super duper super awesome thing of being in Epcot was I got to meet fellow YouTuber, super duper superstar, Rob Gray. Got to meet him, had an awesome time, got to ride the Three Caballeros ride with him. He got to meet my family. Super fun. One of the highlights of the trip was finally getting to meet one of my YouTube buddies in real life. And most importantly, we got to talk about one of our favorite YouTube channels, and that's the Galactic Happy Hour with Slim. It was so cool to hang out with another fan of that great show and talk about it. So, if you get a chance, check out that channel. That's Galactic Happy Hour. Rob, it was great meeting you. Can't wait to do it again. So, I don't really have that much to show from Epcot. We got to do the candlelight procession, which was neat. Beautiful singing, beautiful candles and aesthetic to the whole thing. Very awesome. Went to the part in Japan in the World Showcase, and my daughter got a Hello Kitty that you could probably find anywhere, but she loved it. So to her, it's a Disney Hello Kitty. Can't think of anything else with Epcot. Super fun. Got to ride a lot. Love the Frozen ride, so we got to do that. Test track, which was awesome. My 4-year-old son really dug it because he saw it as like a real life Hot Wheels track. So that was super cool. The day after that, we went to Hollywood Studios. And that's where most of my crap that I bought is from. So, where to start? We started the day with a great character breakfast at Hollywood and Vine that has a lot of the Disney Junior characters. What was super awesome, we got there ahead of our reservation. We got there as soon as the park opened. Put our name in. We're ready to sit and just people watch and enjoy the morning until our reservation. They let us in first. And when you come in first, all the characters are there to greet you. All the wait staff is clapping. You're the first customer in. We got a certificate. It was so awesome. And we got to meet really great characters. Super nice. Got their autographs. I mean, we filled up an autograph book. Super cool. Oh, which reminds me, at the Christmas party, I got to meet Scrooge McDuck finally. Dream come true. Him and Donald were doing a meet and greet. The nicest characters ever. I mean, very nice. And I got to meet Scrooge again, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so we start off with that. Then we go to Star Tours. Now, Star Tours is celebrating their 30th anniversary. So, they had this, which is the Star Tours ship. Die cast. Very awesome. This is a great way to commemorate my first riding of Star Tours with my family. The last time my son wasn't tall enough to ride it, and I may have ridden this like 10 years ago in my first trip to Disney. I hardly remember it, but this trip, very memorable, and I will remember it always. The scenes that they showed were from Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens, because we were on Jakku, then on Crate, and other cool star fields and stuff. Very fun. I loved it. And one of my regrets, we were at the shop, and they had a 30th anniversary pin. And while we were there, it started to rain. Not while we were at the ride, but it was one of those, I'll come back and grab it later, or it'll be at the pin trader. It started to rain, so we weren't really concerned with backtracking at that point. We were forging ahead. So that kind of got lost. I ended up at a pin trader later on. It's only sold at the ride. So I'll be trying to hit eBay later for that. But so got that. We did the Indiana Jones stunt show. So nostalgic. What a throwback to the old Hollywood tour stunt show thing. It was my first time doing a stunt show, and I loved it. Indiana Jones, great. A tad bit tongue-in-cheek, but really cool. They're not fooling you of like, this is really Indiana Jones on an adventure. It is like, hey, we're filming this scene. This is how we do stunts. This is how we do explosions. So that was really fun. Coming off that, there was a Raiders of the Lost Ark t-shirt that was so awesome. And an Indiana Jones action figure. Right there at their little cart, kiosk, souvenir stand. I was like, we got to get to the next ride, but I want those. I'm coming back for those. Oh, and also when we went to the Star Tours and got off, we saw people walking around the parks with these, and my daughter wanted one, but it's a porg that sits on your shoulder. It's got a magnet base, so you put the magnet under your shirt, put the porg on it, it just chills out there. Like you're a space pirate with a porg. Very cool. Very cute. Of course, it's a porg. Very neat. So, we then made it up to Toy Story Land, and it's really raining by then. So, we do Slinky Dog Ride. Super awesome. In the rain, nonetheless. So, a neat experience. Did the swirling saucers. We got to take in the whole Toy Story Land thing. But when we first got there, we ate at Woody's Lunchbox, which is cool because it looks like a huge old school metal lunchbox open with a thermos holding it open, and you order the food in there. So we're eating as a family, and I'm going to have to get up and get this. Excuse me. I wanted a special ceramic glass that they had at Galaxy's Edge. The only way you can get it is if you go to the cantina. I've been trying for months to get a reservation at the cantina, and it's been sold out. So we're sitting there, and my wife's like, check it out for one person. You can just run in real quick, get your mug, and be gone. Like, that's cool, so I do it. Reservation right then and there. I hit it. So I'm like, sorry guys, I'll be right back. I run down there, and walking into Galaxy's Edge for the first time is breathtaking. Where I entered through Toy Story Land, like right there on the side is like a crow's nest kind of scaffolding, and there's stormtroopers walking around, talking crap to the people walking by, pointing blasters at them. There's the things that really drew me in were, it looks like a living, breathing city, town. There's like steps going up to other doors and stuff within the houses that, you know, there's nothing up there, but they took the time to make all that. So it's beautiful. The music changes, the plant life that they planted around there changes, and I instantly got lost. I'm looking at my Disney World app trying to figure my way around, and I had to ask a cast member where the cantina is. And as frustrating as it can be, there's a really cool sense of being a stranger in a strange land, because you're supposedly on an alien planet, and that's what it felt like. The only way, the cherry on top, that it could have been better was if they had cast members walking around in alien garb. Not just humans walking around in cool Star Wars clothing. If they had a couple with alien masks on, that would have been perfect. Or remote control droids right now. Now, they have plenty of droids, like, on the outskirts of buildings and stuff, but they're static. I mean, they light up, they move around, but they don't, drive around. So anyway, I show up for these reservations at the cantina, and there's a huge line. hey, get in line, we'll get to you. And it's like, why the heck did I even make reservations if I'm going to stand in line? And we got fast pass to Slinky Dog here, let's hurry it up. So they go through the line, checking you in. Oh, you're one person? Come with us. Hey, sweet. Because I was like, I just want this cup. I don't care about anything else. I just want the cup. So they let me in. I get seated at a very Star Wars-esque booth with other people that are there by themselves or just couples. That felt like Star Wars to me, because it's like, hey, we're just a bunch of travelers. I sit down, there's a dude that's like, hey, have you been here before? Nope. Here, let me go over it. I come here all the time. He's going over the drinks and pointing out stuff in the cantina. Very awesome, very helpful. Just very neat. So, long story short, I did get my glass, and I don't know if you can see this detail, and I'm still trying to find a home for it here within the laundry room, but it's the Battle of Endor. And as you all know, I love me some Ewoks. So here's like this ceramic tiki glass. Here's an ATST. There's Ewoks all around. There's the satellite dish. X-Wings and TIE fighters all up in the sky. Star Destroyers, Corellian cruisers. Heck, the Millennium Falcon and the Death Star. All with this nice tree motif. And it's done in like a tiki style. So it's not super detailed, but super cool. The drink in it was called a Yub Nub, and it was okay. It's your typical fruity kind of Mai Tai drink, but they dropped some type of fruit on it, pomegranate something, so it had a weird texture as you're drinking it, because it had this glob of fruit on top of it to make it look alien. So drink was glass, super cool. Expensive, yes, but it's a new family heirloom. Now, I didn't check, but some of these, yep, it says first edition on it. Let me take the sticker off here. The made in China, not made on Batu. See, first edition, so even cooler. So, gotta find a nice safe home for that. On the shelves here in the laundry room. So anyway, after I swill my drink real quick, I'm running back to Slinky Dog. Like I said, had fun in the rain, super awesome. We hit the places in Toy Story Land that we went to, and then we head on into Galaxy's Edge as a family. Now, first thing we try to do is get on Smuggler's Run, but I had a reservation I needed to get to. So we had to get out of line for me to get to that, because Smuggler's Run was so long. And let me back up a second. We got to Hollywood Studios early, like I said, because we were trying to get into the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. We got there at 7, and it was already sold out, because people were there at 5 a.m. to get into the virtual queue. It doesn't matter, even if we knew it opened that early, we wouldn't have gone to it, because the kids would be dog tired. And at the end of the day, it's about the kids. So we didn't get to ride that, but next time, definitely. But the reservations that I had to make were for building a droid. And I have to say, yes, it was expensive, but very much worth the money. Look at the size of this thing. And I went with an R5 unit because before, I never had an R2 growing up. I only had, R5, what's his name? R5D4. So it was nostalgic for me. Oh, and there he is. I started with the head, which was black and orange. Now, when you make a single reservation, you can only bring one guest. Here at home, planning it months ago, I'm like, I got 2 kids. They're not going to care for a little kid. Unfortunately, they did care, and they were kind of jerks about it. So I had my daughter go in with me first because she was hopping around excited, and I could see my son was so bummed, and it made me so sad. but they have a watching area. So him and my wife watched, and they were right there. I could stand right there, and they helped me all pick the parts. I picked the head, they picked this stuff, and I picked the third leg here to go with the head. So black, black, white. So I get it. My daughter helps me put the legs on, and then the legs and the head. Then my son comes over, helps me put this on, and these pieces, which are also, you can get these in any color. There's a bin right there, and they actually have a drill, electric drill, that you pull down and you drill the legs on. There's screws holding them on. So you do all that. They put it in a special box with the remote that you get. And this looks like something that would have been sold with the original toys back in the day. And I always wanted one of those remote control R2s with the huge metal antenna that you could like whip people with, where I think you just squeezed it and he drove around. So this is like a dream come true because I always wanted that. Oh. But as a remote control vehicle, and I don't have room right now, so just take my word for it, that, no, I'll film a little something and add it here. Okay, here's just a quick little demonstration of my astromech. Uh-oh, he went to sleep on me. Anyway, here's just a quick little demonstration of my astromech zipping around. Oh, stop messing up my toys, man. Man, you're just as bad as Yoda. Anyway, back to me. Anyway, we're back. I hope you enjoyed watching him ride around. So let's get around to how he looks. And as you can see, I even have a Mandalorian symbol here, which I kind of had to customize there. But they sell, all of his little doors open up here, like all of them. And they sell, you can buy colored doors to match your aesthetic. Because believe me, when I bought this, it's just white. White with these silver vents here. So, and the black pieces, because you can even put on his, little arms, like R2 hits buttons and stuff with. Here, so you put on these leg things, these things. Other than that, it's a white shell, and with the colored head. You can get all different colors. They had red, blue, white, black. So, like I said, he's black and orange, so I could get orange doors or black doors for $12.99. I wanted both, but I didn't want to pay that price. So here, let me put them down for a second. Oh, hope I didn't break that. Nope, it's A-okay. And you can buy decals. So I bought 2 of those for the price of 1 door set. So I got black decals and orange decals. And they have stickers here at the bottom, the 2, enlist in the first order, stuff like that. And the black ones came with a Mandalorian sticker. And it was kind of small, so I took a bigger black one to put over the door, and then I put the black background Mandalorian sticker on top of it to fill it out. So it's a Mandalorian droid to match my Mandalorian theme. And I have to say, I have not been prouder to have this tattoo than the Mandalorian show. And people were stopping me left and right. Cool tattoo, cool tattoo. It's like, I've had it for years, and now it actually means something to people other than just hardcore Star Wars dorks. So, that's cool. I love the droid. Like I said, for the size, I think it was worth the price. You can get different things like thrusters, like how R2 had, where he was flying around, like in Episode 2 and stuff. You get cannons for it, which I might try to pick up on a secondary market, because on the remote, this top button doesn't do anything. But if you get some of those attachments, like the guns, if you push this, it goes pew 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 pew, like he's shooting the guns, because it plugs into his electric module on it. You can get personality chips, which I didn't really care about because it just makes different noise. And when they were trying to sell it to me, it's like, I like the classic astromech noises, so I don't need that. And I kind of second guessed it a little bit, but then I watched some videos on YouTube and I made the great decision. I mean, I don't need the personality chip. Maybe down the road just for something different, but for right now, I love the droid just the way he is. I'll have to give him a custom name eventually, but I love it. Great souvenir. Came in a great little case. You can get a backpack for it for $50. It's like, no thanks. But what's cool is, in my little case, as we're trying to dodge the rain, because by this time it's a torrential downpour, you get near the droids that I said are like on the outside of buildings and stuff, he'll start beeping, they'll start beeping, they start talking together. I walk by like First Order dudes and he starts freaking out, which is cool. So, that alone, I mean, it doesn't do that at home, unfortunately, but for in the park, for that instance, so fired up, so great. So, of course, the one thing that sparked controversy when it first opened because of TSA, the thermal detonator drinks. I got Sprite because, like I said, I was just tired of Coke. I needed something refreshing. So I got 2 of these, and I think they're really cool. Got a water that is an odd shape and has a funky Star Wars label, but as it's sitting in ice, the label fell off. It was kind of chintzy at the end of the day for what you're paying for it and what could be a potential souvenir. That went into the recycle. But other than the droid, the one thing that I really wanted to get at Galaxy's Edge, I wanted to go to the creature shop. And I had this thing on my mind ever since the first pictures of it emerged when they first announced Galaxy's Edge. And that is a Tauntaun. I wanted a Tauntaun ever since I was a kid and first saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater. Riding one of these, I mean, seeing Luke and Han ride them just blew my mind as a kid, and I always wanted one. So this is my chance to finally have one. Of course, I have the OG one from the Kenner line and some other ones that they released, but to have a furry one, and listen. And he still has his tag on, which gives like a little, encyclopedia snippet on the Tauntauns and about Hoth. So, very happy with that. His face is a little goofy, but I love it. It's got hard plastic horns and eyes and muzzle. The rest is like a little velveteen horns and claws, and just nice. So I'm going to put him over here and hopefully he doesn't talk over the rest of the episode. Now my daughter, I fell in love with, and she is a cat connoisseur. She loves cats. And in the creature shop they have a cage with a sleeping Loth cat in it, and you can see it breathe, and its tail twitches, and they had it clutching a Porg toy, like it had been playing with it, like stuffing was coming out, it looked dingy. So she was all about that. And they had a loth cat there. Quiet, Tauntaun. And first off, you can do this with it. And you can pet it, and it purrs. And mind you, this is more expensive than the Tauntaun, so I was like, what the heck, she wants it, but it's more expensive than what I'm getting. That stinks. But, oh, I'm sorry, R5. Oh, don't be sad. It has features like this. You squeeze its tail, and it gets a mad face. So there's a little bit more engineering behind this than the Tauntaun. More interactive pieces. Calm down. Calm down, buddy. Don't be mad. See, he's still mad because I ticked him off. Now he's calmed. Be quiet, Tauntaun. Sick the loth cat on you. Anyway, you'll hear them chittering back and forth. Oh, I also forgot to mention that in the creature shop, it smelled like a pet store. Not in a bad way, but it had that smell of wood chips and just animals. So, I mean, Disney has that magic of pumping in smells for different attractions. And they did that for the creature shop. And it just made it seem like a living, breathing pet store. Especially with the loth cat there. They had other, forgive me for not remembering the names, but like that frog thing that was in front of Jabba's palace. They had him in a little cage. And this weird little snail thing that I don't think I've ever seen before. It might be from one of the animated shows. Had that in a little tank. I mean, it was just so full of personality. I mean, to be immersed in Star Wars that much, I mean, that is breathtakingly priceless. Like I said, torrential downpour. There were things I liked in the toy store they have there, which are supposed to look like toys in the Star Wars universe, which were really cool. Like they had a Boba Fett wooden figure and stuff, but at that time, downpour, everyone was tired, and just had to make some sacrifices. Another sacrifice I made, and I don't really regret it. They had a stuffed Wampa that roared and stuff. That was very cool. But I went into the toy store, and they had a little cute stuffed Wampa, and I was like, I'll take one of those, please. And they said it was just for display, that it wasn't a real toy. And I said, that sucks, right to their face. I'm a rebel. Quiet, kitty cat. But, so that kind of stunk. But, we got to ride Smuggler's Run. Long wait, but worth it. I mean, when you're going through Hondo's garage, his star bay, his docking bay, very cool looking. You finally get to him. One of the best animatronics I've ever seen in my entire life. It was beautiful how it moved. And that was a highlight. But then from there, you go onto the Millennium Falcon. So right there is the chessboard and the seats. And in a case behind, or in just a box behind that, is Luke's little training ball and his visor helmet thing. And soon as I'm like, sit down, I'm going to take a picture of you all, and I'll hop in and you can take a picture of me. Soon as they got their picture and I'm getting ready to jump in, we get on the ride. So that kind of stunk, but at least I got a picture of my family with it, and that was aces. But you get on the ride, and it's very much like Star Tours. You are being pivoted and thrown around. When you hit hyper speed, or you're jumping through space, you can feel it, and you kind of have a mission. You're trying to steal some stuff for Hondo, which is really fun. My wife and daughter got to be pilot, co-pilot. Me and my son were the gunners, and the fifth and sixth person were single riders, and they were like the engineers. They were shooting harpoon hooks out, and that was really cool. So after that, we went home, and then the next day we went to Animal Kingdom. I always love Animal Kingdom. Didn't really, of course I saw stuff that I wanted, but I mean, you gotta save money where you can, so I didn't buy every little thing that I wanted. So, missed out on some stuff there, no biggie. But I love Animal Kingdom. It's calm. You walk around, you look at the animals. Which, another thing real quick about Epcot, they have a full-size aquarium there with dolphins and sharks and fish. I mean, if you look at it, Disney is a lot of different vacations wrapped up in one. Because if we were to go to an aquarium where we live, we would have to drive multiple hours to get into the city. So it's right there. It's super awesome. So we did that, Animal Kingdom, Safari, and all that. Oh, one of the things at Animal Kingdom was I got to meet Scrooge again, like how I mentioned earlier. And this time he was with Launchpad. That was awesome. I didn't even know there was a Launchpad character. I mean, I'm sure there was in the 90s when DuckTales was in full swing. But that was awesome, and they met up at Donald's Dino Land, which is super cool that Donald finally has his little own area within the parks. And the whole shtick of it is that, you know, dinosaurs are closely related to, you know, chickens and ducks. So that's why Donald, to get closer to his roots, studies dinosaurs. So there they had the chipmunks dressed up as dinosaurs, which is so super cute. They had, you know, a lot of the duck characters there. Donald and Daisy had their own little thing over here. And since we'd already met them a few times throughout our trip, that wasn't really the focus, but I really wanted to meet Launchpad and was super stoked to meet him, and the kids got his autograph. So that was really neat. And the whole Donald's Dino Land thing, I think, was really cool. I mean, Donald finally needed something there. So that was cool. Like I said, I have the pins. I said I was going to show them to you, but this video is getting long as it is, so I'll save those for another It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room in the future. So, sorry I droned on and on and on. I hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait to go back. Hit me up with some comments. Tell me what your favorite rides are there. What are your favorite activities to do? I could go on and on and on for hours because we did so much. But, like I said, this is already super long. So, I bid you adieu. Thank you. When this airs will be Christmas week. Hopefully the next week will be back to normal. If not, the week after that. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please hit like. If you liked it, go ahead and check out these other episodes that are down below. They might be something that you'll enjoy. And if you're new around here and you liked this, or those ones down there, hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. And leave comments. Like I said, tell me what your favorite rides were. And I love reading the comments, and I love getting back to all of you. So, until next time, keep being rad and stay dorky.